very proud of my heritage and who I am and where I come from scares them because me being at my position means that their way of thinking, their way of life of being comfortable and suffering and while everyone else suffers is going to be at risk, and they should be afraid because that's my purpose in life.
Hey everybody, here we are. Welcome to episode 82 of Is This Thing Working? Before we start the show, can you please do us a favor and share our show with all your friends? Stomp that like button. Please follow us and subscribe wherever you see the name Is This Thing Working? You're helping us to grow, and we thank you. In all that we do and all that's going on in our world, we put you in the room. So, hey, let's get started. How's it going, Denise?
It's going great. On this Wednesday, hump day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We got a great one for you today. You know, it's really crazy with Congress out how slow news is. You know what I find exciting about it is we actually get to cover different things that we normally wouldn't have time to cover.
That don't have a political slant to it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That are really important in the background.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the media doesn't cover a lot of what we're talking about today. So we're going to get right to it and give you this update on the Francis Scott Key Bridge. So we're going to start with this article from the Gateway Pundit, and it gives us a little background on what has been going on. Everyone knows about what happened on Tuesday morning. It collapsed. It was a cargo ship, and we've talked about this over the past couple of days. But more and more information is starting to come out. We haven't particularly talked about any theories, conspiracy theories, what we thought
Terrorist
here or there,
attacks, cyber
terrorist
attack.
attacks, or
anything nefarious because
no, we haven't. So, but at this time, federal officials are monitoring about 1.8 million gallons of fuel inside the container ship Dali for its spill potential, according to an unclassified memo from the Federal Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. But a U.S. official familiar with the matter told CNN lots would have to go wrong for that amount of fuel to spill. So what it seems like to me is they're watching for any problems. Now, they did say that there was, there were 56 hazardous materials and 2 were missing overboard. But they had also said that there was nothing that was opened or spilled. Then they say the ones that are in the water do not contain hazardous materials.
Yeah, see, there's the contradiction. I'm sitting here reading this with you, and it does. It says Vice Admiral Peter Gautier says that during the White House press briefing that of the 4,700 containers on board the Dali, 56, like you said, contain the hazardous material, but 2 are missing overboard. The ones that are in the water do not contain hazardous material. So
That's
which
kind
is
of a
it?
contradiction.
Which one is it here, man?
No. He said there is no threat to the public from hazardous materials on board.
Yeah, just discount those 2 that we're talking about. What does that mean? Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. But the NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board, Chair Jennifer Hamady announced on Wednesday that the data recorder known as the Black Box has been recovered from the Dali cargo ship that crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge early Tuesday morning. The Black Box is expected to reveal a timeline for the Dali and ultimately lead to what caused the ship to lose its power.
Good. And that right there within itself should put a quell to a lot of the conspiracy theories that we hear, that we've seen going on.
And that have come out. I mean, what Alex Jones, first thing he says is a cyber attack is probable. World War III has started.
Yeah, but he's been saying that for 30 years. So
I know.
You know, I love Alex Jones.
I do too.
I do, but at some point, I guess he figures, man, if I just keep saying it, at some point, it's going to be right. Yeah.
You know, he has been proven. He has been proven right quite a few times.
Yep. I'm not even going to try to do my Alex Jones impression, but yeah, I could just see him standing there going, I told you so. I told you.
You know what I don't get
I
is
could see him doing it.
What I don't get is why don't they wait for a minute to find out what's really going on?
That's exactly right. And even as much respect as I have for Laura Logan at this point, you know, she come out on Bannon the other day, yesterday, and real good segment, and Bannon gave her, an hour?
Yeah.
And she talked about it being a cyber attack.
Yeah, she said that the Baltimore bridge collapse was a 9/11 style attack, but they won't admit it, and we cannot see it because it was a cyber attack. All the SCADA systems that run our critical infrastructure like sewage, electric grid, shipping, etc. are all wide open systems with no encryption because it is too expensive. They can shut us down anytime they want.
Well, yeah, that is a fact. That's
They
a fact
can.
that these things are set up this way and that they could shut you down at any moment. But I guess my point with all of that is what we've seen from the start, what we know about boats. You know, if you spend any time on the water in any boat, of any kind of vessel, even a bass boat, you know, if you lose your motor out there and you turn the rudder a certain direction and you're caught in the drift, even when you crank it back up and you shut the propellers on full speed, you're not going to immediately just turn and have complete control. You're still going to drift a little bit because you're going to have to correct for the steering of the drift. And in the video that we've watched and we've seen others, they say that it turned and headed straight for that structure support. Sure, it did. But how much control did they truly have of the ship at that point in time? And I believe it was none. Here's a good statement that I seen from Michael Buckley III, who is a chief engineer, and he works for the cargo line, the shipping, the container line, Maersk. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's Maersk, Maersk, I guess. But this is what Mr. Buckley says. He goes, as a chief engineer for 20 years with Maersk Lines, on board a container ship and watching the video, I believe only certain events could have taken place. A ship that size has 4 generators. 3 of them should be running and online to support all the engine room machinery, deck machinery, house load, including both a very large bow thruster and stern thruster motor used during maneuvering in and out of port. So in order to lose all 3 generators and ship's power would be caused by 2 things only: a drop of fuel pressure or the machinery electrical computer system failed, both causing the generator main power breakers to open, losing all power, as seen on the video. So he goes on, he says, once a ship's power is lost, basically, like you say, the lights are going out the first time you see it in the video. Once the ship's power is lost, the ship's emergency generator comes on and is designed to restart a generator engine and resupply power to the entire ship. So shortly after the lights come on, the captain realized he was on a collision course for the bridge. He put the ship in full astern, causing full fuel pressure to the main engine. That's the big black puff of smoke that we seen coming out. And everybody talked about that even the very first morning. You know, it happened at 1:30, and by 6:30, you're seeing these videos, and when you see the big black smoke, that's exactly what they're talking about.
Right.
Is that he thrust it into full reverse, you know, his power come back on. He's trying to do that. But like I said, even with a bass boat, man, even with a flat bottom boat, that will happen to you. You know, it's nothing for you to be sitting there even tied up and the current come by and flip you around, put you right back on ground. Let me continue. I got just a little bit here. The rest of his statement, he said the loss of power the second time was caused by a power surge in the one generator that was supplying all the machinery systems to the bow thruster, which the captain at a last attempt requested max power to the bow thruster, tripping the power back off. So when he tried to go full throttle the second time, the power kicked back off. Now he's even more at the mercy of the water and the momentum.
Yeah,
once again,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and once again, when you lose all the power, you lose all your steering. You know, and like his last statement said here, once the power was lost the second time, the vessel course could not be changed, traveling at 9 knots, and it collided with the bridge. That is the most reasonable, logical, and informed explanation that we've had so far. And to me, until I can get something solid on the other side, okay, I can agree that those things could have possibly happened because what you're telling me, those are facts.
Right.
But did it happen?
And exactly. And a lot of people understand this. And I'm going to read this little portion that Laura Logan has been stressing. And she said, The second busiest strategic roadway in the nation for hazardous materials is now down for 4 to 5 years, which is how long they say it will take to recover. Bridge was built specifically to move hazardous material, fuel, diesel, propane gas, nitrogen, highly flammable materials, chemicals, and oversized cargo that cannot fit in the tunnels. That supply chain now is crippled. So I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind when you are thinking about what really happened here.
Yes.
Because this is a very important way supply chain.
And I can understand exactly how you can go to this theory immediately based on the behavior of our current government and administration, and based on the oddness that instead of our president letting the process play out and go, hey, man, we're viewing this as an accident right now, and until further investigation, the one that should be liable is the insurance company of that freight line.
That's exactly correct. No, he did not. No, he wants to take it from the American people.
And pay for all of it.
And pay for all of it.
So I can understand how you can immediately come to these conclusions and go,
you can,
damn.
but you have to think outside the box here, because this government that's in power now, that stole power,
yes,
they will do anything to take this gas, nitrogen, flammable fuel, diesel, chemicals. They will do anything to shut it down.
Yeah. And think about this too in that light. Chess versus checkers. This again, if this is the direction that it's actually truly going, and what we're not seeing is just an accident, if this is the way that it's going, that's a chess move, because 3 to 5 years we're going to have an issue.
And when did they want to go carbon neutral? By 2030.
By 2030. Looky here. Yeah, so I can see this too. This is good to talk about.
It is good. It's good to have this conversation.
Yep.
And to really look at the big picture, and we're going to keep you apprised about what we think is going on here.
Yeah.
And
hey, you want to peel off another layer of this onion?
Yes, I do.
Because
this is
now
fun.
we've got the fact that I'm gonna stand on it truly being an accident until we know better.
And I'm just gonna look. I'm gonna be back and watch.
That's exactly right. And there again, with me too, the conspiracy side of me and that side of me looks at our government, looks at the behaviors of how everything has been going, and you go, damn, what she's saying is true. It could be a cyber attack. It could be terrorist activity. Or it could literally be more of what we're seeing out of our government trying to do all that they can to take our country down. We see the open borders, and now we see this. But like I said, here's the other layer to this onion that we can peel back. Because if you remember our cold opening, let me explain. That was Joy Reid interviewing none other than the mayor of Baltimore. And we gave you just a short little 17-second clip of that. Hopefully that got your attention. So here's his complete statement to put it in context.
Allow you, Mayor Scott, if you choose to do so, to respond to the tomfoolery and attacks on you for having the nerve to be black and also a mayor.
Well, I think, listen, I know, and we all know, and you know very well, that black men and young black men in particular have been the boogeyman for those who are racist and think that only straight, wealthy white men should have a say in anything. We've been the boogeyman from them since the first day they brought us to this country. And what they mean by DEI, in my opinion, is duly elected incumbent. We know what they want to say, but they don't have the courage to say the N-word. And the fact that I don't believe in their untruthful and wrong ideology, and I am very proud of my heritage and who I am and where I come from, scares them, because me being at my position means that their way of thinking, their way of life of being comfortable and suffering, and while everyone else suffers, is going to be at risk, and they should be afraid, because that's my purpose in life.
And by the way, the coded racism, before we even knew the nationalities of the men, Maria Bartiromo was out there talking about open borders and trying to somehow signal that they wanted to go after the brown people too, because of course that is their their other target. We know that the men who were doing this hard construction work overnight, trying to fix the potholes on this bridge, working very hard, were Latino. And so that's now on the table, too. We know that this ship, which came from Singapore, was piloted by a very heroic crew from India, whose Mayday call saved lives. Not maybe saved lives, but did. So this is a full-throated attack. But this is also what America is. It is people of multiple races who do the hard work to make America work and literally make it work.
Wow.
Leave it to racist Joy Reid to tell us what it's really about.
So, yeah. So according to him, it's all about his race.
Yes.
He's a piece of garbage. This is why, man, anyway.
Yeah. I think we said enough.
Yeah. Something happens, and these stupid-ass people want to jump out here and cry victim.
Every single time.
If you want to cry victim, if you want to cry victimhood in this situation, it ain't because somebody is scared to say this or say that about you, or it's not nothing about you, man. If you want to cry victim, let me tell you who's a victim in this situation right now. All those people that work over there in those ports right now that are not going to be able to work. Even Joe Biden said there's 15,000.
Yes.
You know, even if we take 15,000, those people are victims now because now their income is hurt. Now their way of life is hurt. Now, but it ain't got a damn thing to do with race.
No, it ain't got anything to do with race. That's all they ever continue to do. Oh, Republicans are racist. Actually,
idiots, man.
It's Democrats that are racist.
Idiots, man. Idiots. Let's keep moving. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to turn right now to this horror that happened in New York City. A New York City police officer was shot and killed in broad daylight by a career criminal who had prior 21 arrests. His name was Jonathan Diller, and he left behind a 1-year-old son and his wife. He was 31 years old. He was fatally shot in the stomach after police tried to remove a suspect from the passenger side of the vehicle late Monday afternoon. I'm getting this article here from Gateway Pundit. I just wanted to hat tip them. The senseless shooting happened around 5:30 p.m. in Queens after cops approached a dark gray Kia Soul that was illegally parked in front of a metered zone. Diller screamed he had been hit after the suspect opened fire. He was then rushed in critical condition to Jamaica Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. He leaves behind, like I said, his wife and 1-year-old son. This is really sad, and I want everyone, please, let's just say prayers for him. One of the main reasons why I wanted to really bring this, besides the fact that we lost another cop to crime, in America. And this is, one of the reasons why we can't, have safe cities anymore, because our cops keep getting killed. It's just really sad to me.
And the good people who would be cops or be great cops don't want to be no more.
We know so many
They're
cops.
leaving the profession.
Their jobs are so intensely hard every single day. So we want to send up lots of prayers for his family and everything. But one of the main reasons why we did bring it up was because this has become political now. It's like a political football. This happened in New York City. And, of course, President Trump is going to the funeral. He has said that he would help pay for the wife's and son's house,
yep.
To get it paid for, along with Tunnels of Tower. So I want to hat tip them also.
They're awesome.
They're awesome. So he's going to be there. But in the interim, Biden won't attend the wake. No. He's going to go to a fundraising in Manhattan instead. And it is said to be the biggest fundraising with Obama and the Clintons, and the whole Democrat Party is going to be there. Biden is.
Biden, the Clintons, and Obama.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a really big fundraiser. Maybe he couldn't just cancel it or something.
And the good thing is they're offering pictures at $100,000 a pop if you want to take a picture with 3 of the greatest presidents the history has ever known.
Yeah, isn't this nuts? I mean, that's...
But no.
Anyway, but we want to say prayers to the family. This is really devastating.
And, we were watching the news this morning, and Rachel Campos Duffy brought out the best point about all of this. When you look at events that a world leader or the leader of your country in this situation, when you look at the events that he should prioritize, look what he prioritized in this situation, man.
Raising money.
Yeah. Over. Yeah.
He prioritized the elites over real Americans.
Over people that are out doing their civic duty and serving their country.
Yeah, but the Democrats, they don't like cops.
I know.
And so this really shows how much they don't like cops. They don't like safe cities. I mean, I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah.
Why don't you like safe cities? I don't get it.
You know what else they don't like? Election denying.
Oh, yes, they don't like that. They don't like us. That's for sure, because we're supposedly election denying. But like I was saying earlier about stuff that you don't hear about very much on the mainstream media unless it's all bad or whatever. But John Eastman, another Trump lawyer, goes down and is disbarred. Can you believe this?
With these guys, yeah. Yeah, I can believe it.
I don't know. Okay, you have John Eastman and you have
Jeff Clark.
Steve Baker, who's been arrested, on trial Donald Trump, convicted Steve Bannon, disbarred John Eastman and Jeff Clark, being sued Carrie Lake, in jail Peter Navarro, bankrupted Rudy Giuliani. Still think you're voting the Biden regime out of power in November?
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, look what they're doing. The big heavy hitters, man.
Yep.
The big people in the top of the conservative movement. Where are they? In trouble, being disbarred, just totally lawfare.
Yep.
Everywhere.
Complete lawfare.
Completely. But John Eastman got disbarred yesterday. It's really devastating. They say he was the architect of Donald Trump's conspiracy to overturn a lawful presidential election, and he's been disbarred in California. A judge ordered his disbarment effective 3 days from today, which was yesterday. Eastman was the author of the infamous memo urging Mike Pence to reject the slate of electors certified by the states. Mike Pence's legal counsel, Greg Jacobs, and his chief of staff, Mark Short, both testified against Eastman, stating that he told Pence to reject the electors. I just want to say a comment about Eastman here. Paul Ingracia had written something on X, and so I just want to go over it because it really says a lot about John himself. It says, the radical left has attempted to destroy one of the finest legal scholars and gentlemen in John Eastman, an extraordinary legal mind and perhaps the foremost original thinker in the conservative legal movement since the day he heroically put everything on the line, his livelihood, personal finances, even friendship, and represented President Trump. No man, most especially one who faithfully upheld the rule of law and stood for the integrity of the electoral and constitutional process when nobody else was willing to do so, should ever have to go through the ringer like John Eastman and his family have. I'm confident that when all is said and done, John will emerge as a winner and hero he is, and those now pursuing this incredibly vicious political persecution against him will be brought to heel and soon. Stay strong, John. And we wish that from here, from Denise and James on, is this thing working? You stay strong because we're behind you 100%.
Exactly. Hey, you look at this in contrast or in comparison to Fonnie Willis. Why aren't we screaming to disbar her? Why isn't that going on? Mm-hmm. You see, this is the thing that we get into with the left all the time. And this is our biggest disappointment. This is why we come on here and we talk to everybody and we want you to be informed and engaged. Because just like with this, what do we see always happening, man? We don't like the lawfare. We think it's BS. We think that it's their tactic and they use it. Let me tell you something. In all of these things that are going on, Jeff Clark, John Eastman, like you said, President Trump,
Bannon, Navarro.
The left doesn't care if they ever prove the case or not. They want to put you in the process because with them, it's death by 1,000 cuts. They can sit here and do this to you over and over and over. Okay, if they're going to do it to you over and over and over, then why don't you turn the game? do
No,
this.
I don't understand why they're not like trying to sue them.
That's exactly
I will
correct.
say this about President Trump. He is on the offensive when it comes to Fannie Willis because there's something else he's doing right now, and I believe it's today.
but-
so I'm kind of excited about that. But no, there needs to be more. I mean, California's kind of hard to fight. Those cities, and this is why they do these in these cities, in these towns and states.
Yeah.
California and New York City, they're gone. You're not going to win a conservative fight in either one of those states. In Washington, D.C.,
But it doesn't
you're not
matter.
going to win it.
But it doesn't matter.
The
Go-
process.
That's right. Go ahead and pull up the least little thing that you can pull on them like they do. Grab this least little insignificant BS thing that you can find over here, throw that out here, promote it, make a big deal out of it, drag their ass into court, have the public opinion on your side, drag them through it,
They need to do it in these red states.
bleed the money out of their accounts, just like they're trying to do to you.
How come Florida's Ron DeSantis ain't doing something? Who are you suing?
Yeah. Hey, what's the best way to hit a person? In the pocketbook, right?
That's it. That's what they've
understand
discovered.
that.
They
That
do
is-
understand that.
that is
They
exactly
play
correct.
what? Chess.
And that's what I mean by that. They're going to go in there with whatever bogus charge they can bring. The clerk or the county clerk office, whoever they go to file the paperwork, that clerk don't care. That person's just going to sit there and do this because that's their job. They're going to turn it in, and once they do, the process begins. Then you got to go through it. Put
Yes.
them in it, man. Put them in it.
I know, but what they do, and over and over and over, there's so many fires that get thrown at us, at every American, every single day. I mean, you can't keep up. It's like overload, and they do that on purpose. That's
Sure.
part of their, noise.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's what we do is try to look for the signal.
And-
between all this noise, and that's like going over here. John Eastman, just got disbarred, but Jeff Clark as well. And Jeff Clark was another one of those attorneys he was another attorney that got attacked for being on, I guess, President Trump's side. Okay, there was an ex-White House lawyer who went and testified. He testified at a disbarment hearing for Jeff Clark. What happened, former Deputy White House Counsel Pat Philbin, he testified before this hearing. And what I found crazy about this is he is proud of going against President Trump and trying to threaten him with a mass firing or mass resignation if he appointed Jeff Clark to be the district attorney.
Right.
To look into the 2020 election.
He's proud of this backstabbing and disloyalty.
He is so proud of that.
Yeah.
Disloyalty. And my question on this, and it has from the very beginning, isn't that an insurrection?
You would think, in their terms, wouldn't it be?
Wouldn't it be?
In
He
their
went against the president of the United States.
Yeah. Well, the article goes on to say, too, that his actions by doing that caused him to be pretty nervous. Here's the story about this. It goes, and this is from...
It's from Politico by Kyle Cheney.
Yeah, and this is what he writes. He goes, it was just a few days until January 6, 2021, when Congress was slated to certify Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election, and Trump had suddenly resuscitated a plan to replace the leadership of the Justice Department with Jeffrey Clark, a little-known DOJ official who Trump expected to mount a sweeping nationwide effort to help him remain in power. So
See what they do?
there was their threat.
Yes.
He's going to bring somebody in that will actually follow the law and is going to
And
make
it's going
sure
to
that
actually find it and be able to prosecute it because,
exactly.
you were talking about, hey, we can go do all this lawfare and all that, but judges wouldn't allow that to happen during the 2020. We had no standing, remember?
Yep, exactly.
And then he goes on to say, I tried to explain to him that it was a bad idea for multiple reasons. He would be starting down a path of assured failure. If by some miracle somehow it worked, there'd be riots in every major city in the country, and it was not an outcome the country would accept.
Although we'd been having riots going on for the last 8 months.
Yes. And why threaten him with riots that was already happening? What else was going to happen? Did you know of a plan that was going to happen, sir?
Exactly. And that's what I was fixing to ask anyway. had they went ahead and certified the election, all of us that voted for Donald Trump, all of us that are America First and MAGA, do you know what? We expected the riots to happen.
Yeah.
So does that give you the go-ahead or the right to do what you did?
I mean, that was a threat.
That was backstabbing and insurrection.
Yeah.
Was it an insurrection? It was backstabbing and disloyalty.
Yes, it really was. You know, though Philbin has spoken to both the January 6th Select Committee, Unselect Committee, and the federal grand jury that indicted Trump for his efforts to seize his second term, no transcript or recording of his remarks have been released. And why isn't that, Senator Loudermilk? Where is his testimony? How come we haven't seen Philbin's testimony? His description of his interactions, his description, it's just his interactions with Clark shed new light on the frenzied effort by Trump to remake the Justice Department into a tool of his bidding to cling to power despite losing the election. Guess what, Politico? That's his choice to remake the Justice Department.
Yep. He is in charge of those.
That is the executive branch.
Listen to this, too. Once again, we talk about how the left always does with gaslighting.
Yes.
Projection. What are they doing right now? What did Joe Biden do? Did he not remake and weaponize the Justice Department against us? Did he not?
Yes. That's going on right now.
There you go.
They accuse President Trump of doing what they're doing. Yep. They're doing it already. They stole power, and now they're accusing Trump of trying to steal power when he actually won the 2020 election. We all seen it. We all know it.
Yep. If you're not full on board with it, man, I don't know what to tell you.
You know what? In over half of the country, 52% of Americans believe that this 2020 election was stolen. So there's more on that side than not. So if you don't believe the 2020 election stolen, then you are not part of a great movement who knows that the 2020 election was stolen.
Yep. You've got your head in the sand, man.
You do. Time to wake up.
Is this thing working?
Rise up.
Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. You know, we couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise.
and we'll see you next time.
We're out.